Hello everyone and welcome to PAX Area Gaming. This is Reg and we are starting Wuchang Fallen Feathers. This is part 1 and it should be a great game. Looks fun. Looks like a combination of Neo and Dark Souls, maybe 1. I'm looking forward to this journey. Also elements of Black Myth Wuchang. So let's see where this takes us. Right, just sort of checking things out. After about a month of playing Elden Ring Night Rain, I'm going to have to get used to the controls. Always takes me a little bit longer than it probably should to get used to the controls. This game has a lot of loot, a lot of little side areas, and so you want to make sure that you explore everything, at least for the full experience. And I guess you can just go boss to boss to boss. Although I don't know whether you can do that because there's some areas that have to be unlocked before you can get there. There are NPCs that will guide you along parts of the path. So let's... Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that's bright. Alright, first area of the game, Worship's Rise. Not quite sure how to do these parts yet, whether it will be by region or by area explored. I guess it depends on how large the areas are. This two-handed sword is the first weapon of the game. You'll pick other weapons up along the way. I already know that I'm going for a one-handed sword build. Reason why is because I also want to use magic. And for magic, the one-handed sword is the best weapon that you can have. But you can also respec and use any weapon you want, right? And even though, like, this is a longsword, my first longsword, I'll likely find other longswords in the game. If I level this sword up, all longswords that I find will equal that level. So you don't have to level up each longsword. But in terms of different weapon types, you will have to level up the first one. And then if you get better versions of it, it'll level up as you level any of them up. So if I get a short sword that I like, and I find another short sword, and I've been leveling up the first short sword, the second short sword that I equip will be equal to the first in terms of the levels, which is really nice. So if you are not sure what you want to specialize in, and you pick up each of the different weapon types to sort of see how they play. They're dual wield weapons as well. There's an axe. There's a spear type weapon. So you know, whatever your play style is, it's the game is very generous in terms of those kinds of things. Okay. All right, we're at the sort of first mini hub of the game. So let's go in, and after we, of course, loot, we're going to go in and talk to each of the characters.
You know me? Why am I here?
I came upon you in a brooklet some days past. You lay passed out due to the feathering. I moved you to the cave to recuperate.
The feathering?
I see. Know you not. A man-eating fiend attacked Worship's Rise 6 moons ago, spreading unthinkable horrors, after which many bore feathers on their bodies. A malady unlike any other, without hope of a cure. I found this silk manuscript on your person. Here, take it. Should you have other concerns, pray, speak then. My Taoist name is Xuanyang, sir. I came here to help, to treat the feathering outbreak in Worship's Rise. Alas, I have made little progress. Should you have other concerns, pray, speak then. This is the Revenant Temple. Those afflicted have sought refuge here. This temple was used by Buddhists. It was after the abbot fled that I took on the role of guardian for the sanctuary. Thanks to the officials, we have barely managed to keep this place secure. Should you have other concerns, pray, speak then. You are experiencing early signs of the feathering. The afflicted slowly lose their memories. If left unchecked and untreated, the disease will rob them of their humanity entirely. It begins in the limbs, sprouting feathers. Then comes the dislocation of the joints, leading finally to a monstrous transformation. Most victims endure unbearable agony. Judging by how you look, you should count yourself lucky. Your memory loss, while troubling, is a far gentler fate. You may not be able to recall, but the silk manuscript you were carrying mentions that you have a companion. From what I gathered when I rescued you, it seems you were separated during an attack. That Lu Hongliu is merciless. I dread the worst for your companion. Now that you have contracted this disease and have those blue feathers on your arm, others may mistake you for a monster and strike you down on sight. For now, it is safer to remain in the temple and rest, at least with the soldiers present.
You're not from around here, are you? The name's Xiaolin, from Worship's Rise. Don't you dare look down on me just because I'm crippled. My brother and I were once the town's finest heroes. But now my brother's burdened with finding medicine to treat me. Pathetic.
We'll meet his brother a little bit later.
How humiliating. You're heading to town, aren't you? Could you do me a favor and deliver this to an oracle there? She's hard to miss. She's had this old bracelet for as long as I can remember. She's a bit different. Yeah, you'll know her when you see her. I don't know if she's still in town, but please check for me. I'd go myself, but I can't. Not in this pathetic state. If you find her, don't tell her I'm stuck at the Revenant Temple. Tell her I've gone off to make a name for myself. Tell her I'll come back once I've made something of myself.
It is dark as hell in this place. I'm assuming I'll get a lantern at some point. I don't have one yet.
You're awake. You seem to have recuperated well. The old Taoist mentioned your encounter with that demon, Lu Hongniu. I am glad to see you on your feet again. But your arm, the feathers are still there. The feathering's a nasty curse. Even the Taoist doesn't have a cure for it. With your skills, maybe you should check out the Shu Sanctum. There could be something there to hold back the feathering.
Checking out some freebies that I got. I guess at this juncture in the game, it doesn't really matter what you have. I guess general damage reduction and stuff like that might work, but until you get to an area where you're encountering real enemies, and certainly I'm guessing bosses will have some affliction that they can put on you. That's generally true in these games. Most of them don't just beat you down physically. They either using lightning or poison or bleed or one of those kinds, or fire or one of those kinds of things. I'm guessing we'll see some of that as we progress through the game, and you would change your armor or your outfit depending on that particular boss. At least I would. I guess you could just go through the game playing with one set of armor, or I'm not sure why you would do that. So that's the freebies you got. That stuff was waiting for me. But you can also purchase things
Most
from
people have to be carried out of the Revenant Temple. You, though, you get to walk
any
out
of the merchants
on
that
your
you
own.
see.
Xuan Yangzi may be harsh with his words, but he tends to my eyes every day. Some of the worship's rise folk came here fleeing, but they didn't stay long. They rushed back out, unaware of how dangerous the world truly is. I am Tao Ting, just a humble merchant seeking refuge. I run a small trading business to make ends meet. Do you happen to have any rare goods for me to take a look at? Smooth to the touch, with a fragrance that's hard to come by. This is no ordinary treasure. Oh, but don't worry, I won't be tempted to take it for myself. This place is no paradise for a merchant. I'm thinking of heading to the Shu Sanctum. I hear the Ming troops are stationed there, and it's a safer bet than this old temple. I can trade with you, of course. It would be an honor. But for the real treasures, I'm afraid I'll need to ask for a little favor in return. Some thieves from Annalum stole my family's heirloom, an ancient landscape painting. Get it back for me, and I'll make it worth your while. You can find Annalum by taking the side entrance from the stage at Worship's Rise, then crossing a long bridge. Once you've retrieved the painting, meet me at the Shu Sanctum. I'll have a reward waiting for you.
Okay, so a couple of things. So we have a side quest for this guy to retrieve a painting and bring it to what I assume will be his next location, which we haven't gotten to yet. Actually, he mentioned two different locations, Annalum and that other temple. So, you know, I guess I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to explore. There are lots of forks in the road. You have a left and a right. One is going to be a dead end invariably, and the other one will lead you to progress. So I think, you know, take both. You can't get too lost. This is our shrine, which will allow us to store things, to level up, to eventually teleport, to temper eventually. There's a lot of things we can't do now since this is the beginning. To reset the area and sort of regain all of your health potions and stuff like that, you have to enter the dream. Just note that when you can upgrade, right, without resetting the world, right, as the impetus repository. But if you choose to enter the dream, you will reset the world. So if you're close to a boss, it's okay to reset the world, right? Because if that shrine is right outside of a boss door or a boss area, then you're good. But if you reset the world, because you've gone back. Just understand that you have to play through all those enemies again. Many of them you can run past if that's what you want to do, but just know that. I'm still learning a lot about this game. As of this video, I'm probably on part 2 at this point, so I'm not that far ahead of where we are now. You know, I'm still trying to understand feathering. I'm still trying to understand what happens when madness builds up. It seems like it's a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing. All right, let's talk to these folks.
Young lady, are you infected too? Since the feathering outbreak in Worship's Rise, many have fallen ill. First, feathers start growing on your arms. Then you lose your mind. Before long, you turn into a monster that craves human flesh. Lucky for me, Zhang Yanzi brought me to the Revenant Temple. His medicines kept me going, but who knows how long it'll last. Your symptoms are lighter than mine. Best stay here and recover. It's utter chaos out there, especially in Worship's Rise. I doubt there are many survivors left. Still waiting for the Taoists to check on me. Take care out there, young lady.
I saw the old Taoist carry you in the other day. Looks like you caught the plague too, huh? Feathers growing on your arm now. Just like mine. He's got a heart of gold, that old Taoist. But who knows if he'll ever come up with a miracle cure for the feathering. I've been stuck here for ages, but no one's been healed yet. Heard the priests at the Shu Sanctum might have something. I'd risk my life heading there if the road wasn't crawling with danger. If you're still kicking, you might want to head to the Sanctum. It could be your last hope.
Okay. This looks like a transition to the next area. We have a couple of folks who I assume are enemies. A non-ringable bell. No worries. Oh, no. Okay, he's a good guy. All right.
Well,
The boatman.
look who's back. Feeling lost, are we? We are both wanderers of fate. No need for formalities. Now, about the power in your left arm. If you master it, you'll be unstoppable. You might even rewrite destiny as we know it. Don't believe me, eh? How about I introduce you to someone worthy? Don't call me cruel. You know how it goes. No sweet dreams without crushing a few nightmares first.
The belt pinwheel.
Alright, there's still some tutorials going on, which means we're about to face the obligatory Souls-like unbeatable boss. Although they're not really unbeatable, it's just that most newbies will not beat them, including me. If you don't have any real skills other than dodging, which I guess you can beat them by doing that. And I don't know whether this is the kind of boss where you will meet him again later in the game. Like in the Souls game, you can always go back at some point. You meet up with that first boss, and you beat him pretty easily, and then you wonder, how did I have trouble with this boss? In this one, I'm not sure it works the same way. But as we continue this journey, we'll find out together. Okay, not surprising. Big, fast-moving, intimidating boss.
Hold on to it. This feeling.
Yeah, the more you die, the more madness you accumulate. And once you accumulate enough of it, you will end up having to confront a cloned version of yourself. I'm guessing that version of yourself probably is a better fighter than you are at this point, if it's early in the game that it happens. If you die when fighting your clone, you will lose all of the all of the currency that you had. This is the area that the boatman was in. So the icon in the upper right shows you when you're able to level up. It's a measure of your currency, but it will light up when, as a signal to let you know that you have enough currency to level up. If you die, you'll be able to pick up your currency where you died. The only time that's not true is when your madness is high enough that you're facing your clone self. Other than that, you would go right back to where you died, pick up your currency.
Judgment falls!
Okay. Okay, now I've died twice already. But in true Souls-like fashion, I expect to die quite a few more times. Not too worried about it. because you, at least in my mind, I would just kill these enemies again, which gives me even more. And then collect what I dropped on the other side when I was facing the other guy. Pick that up, which gives me more opportunity to level things up. Yeah, it'll take a little bit for me to get used to the weapon mechanism, like that move where you dodge backwards instead of into it. Part of it is that it's a safeguard. Once you understand how it works, it makes sense. Okay, this is not Blackmouth Wukang. You cannot cut the bamboo trees down. Oh no, that was in Assassin's Creed Shadows. We had a little quest where we had to cut bamboos down. This is still really just a tutorial area. By the way, those other doors in that courtyard we'll unlock at some point later. We have an axe. I'm not likely to use it. Alright, so you have all these branching paths, and the reality is you're going to, at least I think, I'm going to end up exploring all of it, so I'm not too worried about if I miss something.
Over here.
Oh, okay, we have another NPC. Which means that's the way forward, so I'm going to go back the other way and make sure that I didn't sort of miss something back here. I'm not ignoring the guy. I am going to go back, but like I said, there's always, you know, when you get these forks in the road, my view is you always explore both sides, and sometimes you luck up and you choose the right side, the correct side, and then you move forward. That time I did not. So I should have gone left before going right. I went right. Once I saw him, I realized he's probably progression. So let's see what he has to say. Sorry, buddy, for walking away from you.
Your arm. What's happened to it? It's me, He Yuzai. You wrote to me about searching Worship's Rise for clues about Bar Yu. Have you forgotten? Bar are you? Your sister. We came here to find clues. But your arm. The old boatman spoke true. He warned of feathers growing on the arm. A mark of feathering. They say it leads to memory loss. And worse, that it ultimately turns one into a man-eating monster. Fortunately, you can still speak for now. Take this. I'll counsel my friend, the old boatman. He may know a cure. I scouted the Shoe Sanctum a few days past. Aside from a deranged towers to the entrance, it seems safe. Rest there and search for clues. See the Revenant Temple? The way to the Shoe Sanctum lies beside it. But the bridge has collapsed. You will need to find a way around. But be careful. If anyone sees those feathers, they'll definitely strike first and ask questions later. If you encounter danger, don't fight. I'll follow your trail and find you. Oh, and take this. This bamboo lantern. I found it nearby. Hard to believe such craftsmanship still lingers here. It's a reminder of how vibrant this town was. The fireflies inside. They seem to glow endlessly. A useful light for your path. I've tested it personally. With this, you'll have both hands free for weapons. Far more practical than a torch. Since we got separated, many of the Imperial Guards have been sneaking around the Tang Emperor's palace. But the refugees say the place has already been ransacked by rebels. Something's not right. I will track down the boatman, and we'll meet at the palace. I'll leave marks, pinwheels, along the path. Follow them, and you'll find me.
Okay, so I now have my...
And we'll meet at the palace. I'll leave marks, pinwheels, along the path. Follow them, and you'll find me.
Okay, now I have my lantern to use in the darker areas or the cave-like areas. Yeah, because I have the feathers on my arm, they know that I'm inflicted with feathering. So they're not happy to see me. Yeah, I'm actually pretty terrible at melee hand-to-hand stuff in these games, so all that stuff, yeah, I see it, but I'm probably not going to dodge the way I'm supposed to. But no worries. I've successfully made it through all of the Souls games. The actual Souls games as well as Souls-like, so I'm guessing I'll make it through this one as well. All right. This is not the Ghost of Tsushima, so there is no standoff. Right? I'm like, okay, he's got a shield. Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's do this. See, the one thing about this particular weapon is gauging the distance. You have to really get used to what the distance is. And I guess over time, with this weapon, you'll learn. You think that you're close enough so that when you do that charge, but you're not. You really have to be in serious melee range to do that. See, you have to be much closer. I guess the issue is that when you do that, you end up, at least I haven't figured out how to do it without taking some kind of chip damage. All right, we have our first pendant. Nice. So it looks like we have slots for 3. I don't know whether that expands over time or whether 3 is the max. And you'll switch them out depending on which ones work with your build. As we get more of them, we'll sort of see how that works. Whether it's more important for a skill or whether it's more important for a weapon or some combination of all of them. I'm not sure yet. Okay. One giveaway that you haven't been in a particular area is that there's loot. Unless you're the type of gamer that leaves loot, which I'm not. I always take all the loot that I can find. That noise that we hear that sounds like a little whistle, that noise is a bird. A particular kind of bird, not just any old bird, but a particular kind of bird that you want to kill in order to get the feathers. So let's have a little quick chat with this strange lady. Talk to her without falling into the water. Wuchang cannot swim, so if you fall into the water, she will die.
Feathers on your left arm. That's a sign of feathering. Most would have lost their minds by now, yet you remain in control. Fascinating. The power of feathering runs through that arm of yours. I can sense it. How you managed to contain it, I don't know. But make no mistake, your left arm is the key to unleashing its full strength. Yes, that power is itching to course through you, but I'm afraid you're not ready to command it. Not yet. Here, take this. Let's see if you've got what it takes to wield that power.
The other thing is you do take fall damage. And if you're high enough and you fall far enough, you will die. So, like I said, that's the bird that's making that noise. And you can use kunai if you have any. If he's, and I'm searching to see whether I do. You can actually whack it with the sword if he's close enough for you to whack with a sword. Or if you use magic, just lock on and hit him with a magic shot. But I don't have any of that stuff. Let's check out the Yes, I do have throwables. And you gain a feather. So they'll be all over the map. I don't know how many there are. You know, so I don't know, like, is it to a particular number per region or per area? I don't think so. I just think that they're just randomly there. See, this is already looking a little bit dangerous because I'm assuming these guys can knock you over the edge. Yeah, my sneaking ability is not quite reawoken yet from my AC Shadows days. Fortunately, the enemy is not too tough. And if you die here before you get to the next shrine, right, you will have to sort of make your way all the way back here. So there's an incentive to try not to get killed before you hit the next shrine. We haven't unlocked any shortcuts yet. We haven't needed to. But that's the other thing that's very Souls-like, is that you should make sure you try to unlock as many shortcuts as you can. So that if you do die, there's a short way to get back to where you need to get to. So yeah, I did die. They knocked me over the edge. Just in case you were wondering, why is my currency on the ground? I did end up trying to fight these guys up here, but what I'm going to do now is try to kite them back down to the bottom. And fight them down here. That way, at least I'm not worried about getting pushed off the edge. Which is just testament to my inability to dodge correctly. Not necessarily because they're tougher. They're not. These are basic scrub enemies, so. See, not too difficult, but up there, I was dancing a little bit too close to the edge and they knocked me over. That chest is really our target for this little area. Hopefully it's not protected by some mini-boss. Okay, pick this stuff up. And we can continue our journey. In terms of whether it makes sense to break everything that you see, just in case it might be hiding something, I would say it's up to you. There'll be parts of the game where I'm breaking every one of the sort of clay jars, and there'll be other parts where I'm probably not going to do that. Same thing with the boxes. You know, I think that the amount of time that you actually find something in there is probably less than 10%. It's not 0, so it might be worth doing it, but it's definitely not high enough that if you don't do it, you feel like you're going to miss something incredibly valuable. Although, who knows, the game might throw a couple of those in there, right? It's certainly possible. They'll throw a few in there, like, okay, you missed this item, or this item is here and you missed it and now you can't get back to it. That kind of a deal. Okay, so lesson learned. I could have run past those guys, gotten to this shrine, activated it, And then I wouldn't have had to work my way all the way back like I did. I didn't show it because like 10 minutes of me doing a run back didn't make any sense, but it was right here all along. This ladder should take us down to the golden chest. I think it will. And you do have the slide down, which is nice. Just checking every little nook and cranny. Well, the good thing about the loot is it does show up pretty brightly, so it'd be very hard for you to miss loot. Okay, so I picked up my first spell. And I know that if you're using spells, if you are using a short sword, which we don't have, you will automatically generate the Skyborn. The Skyborn, mana is health and Skyborn is magic. Interesting, because that's going to take getting used to, since mana is magic in just about every other game I know of. But you're going to have to either wait for it to regenerate. Actually, in this particular instance, you need to dodge. Unless one of the little, there's some little flowers that give you Skyborn as well. Yeah. I guess I'm not really trying hard to get used to the longsword because I know I'm not going to be using the longsword. But Skyborn is, like I said, the equivalent of mana in other games that allows you to use magic. So you want to max that. If it's a magic build you're interested in, you're going to want to max it out. That's the little flower I was talking about. There are not a lot of them, I guess, because this is a tutorial area. It's just showing you what that is. There's another area of the game where there'll be more of those. Yeah, the lantern does make a huge difference. So I'm still getting used to switching between things to use. It's easy. The little wheel and the D-pad is how you would do that. Or the D-pad that shows you the wheel is how you would do that. Okay, so who's down there? Alright, there are a couple of enemies down there. The game is teaching us how to do a plunge attack. Of course. So I did it, but I missed an item on the beam that I jumped down from. And I promise you there's no way to get back to that beam. Actually, you know what? That's not true. That's not true. So I guess what you can do is work your way through the area until you get to another shrine. Activate the shrine. Go back to the previous shrine, and then work your way back up through here. I didn't think about doing that. Huh. But that would be one way to do it. I don't happen to believe that that's a real critical item, so I'm not too worried about it. Or at least I hope it's not a critical item. Okay, so not ready for this boss, because didn't think there'd be a boss here, but yes there is. And in true Souls fashion, the door closes behind you, the fog door, and nothing to do but fight. I'm assuming this is not like the first boss that we saw, the earlier boss, which was one that you weren't meant to beat. I think this one is one that you are meant to beat. The other thing I have to do is get used to using throwables too. You know, I have kunai that I could use. I don't know whether I have any fire stuff yet. But in this particular case, I really should be dodging to get behind her, and getting some strikes in. And once my magic pool refills, I could use that as well. Well, it's refilled now, so I guess I can use it. Okay, I'm never going to get used to that heavy attack being a dodge back as well. Okay. Easy fight. What do we get from her? We got a benediction. Do I go back up this ramp, or do I go out that door? Or do they lead to the same area? Let's go up first. We came from that way. We have... wait a minute. Oh, this is new. Okay. So I'm going back to see whether or not there's any way for me to get that item that's up on that beam, and there isn't, because there's no way to get back up there. Yeah, Wuchang can't swim and she can't jump, so... Well, actually, I guess she can jump in combat if it's one of the weapon arts, but other than that, she really can't jump. So yeah, so I'd have to go back to that previous shrine, work my way back through to drop down on that beam to grab that particular item. Okay, so there's a door below. Just forgive me for going back and forth. That's going to drive me crazy for a little while until I eventually forget about it. But it's going to drive me nuts that I missed that in my zeal to get my plunge kill on one of those other guys. Okay. So we got the door below and we got the door ahead. Let's go here first. And as always, there's left and there's right. Oh, well, this little guy isn't waiting, so let's... he's taking his sweet time. Dragging his weapon. Buddy, you should have had a lighter weapon. The lost packages you can give to the NPCs as a part of a quest item. I think that's what the lost package is for. Yeah, I think so. Where's it for upgrading? Now I have to look at the upgrade, the impetus thing again. Okay, this is the lore door. That's how we get to this chest. And this gives you upgrade materials. Upgrade materials for a node for your upgrades. So it's not regular. In some cases, in order to unlock the node that you want to level up, you need that, the Forgotten Remembrances. So it's important to explore enough to at least find those particular chests. Okay, so that was the only thing down here, so the way forward is through here. Okay, nope, we can make that back here. Faint red feather. These various types of red feathers provide you with varying amounts of currency for leveling up, and I guess for purchasing things as well. And they're plentiful. You will find a lot of different versions and a lot of different of those types of things throughout the game. So again, that's part of the reason why looting anything that's shining is important, because it will grant you the opportunity to level up, also to purchase things, although I don't know how much purchasing you need to do because you find so many things in the game. Like there's going to be a merchant that will sell you boss types of things. After you defeat a boss and you go back to that merchant, his store would have expanded to include certain items. I haven't, I don't know how committed I would be to doing that. You also have enemies that drop armor and items in the game as well. So I guess it depends. If it's something that's much stronger than you have, then yeah, it's worth getting. Some people will get or will change their fit based on aesthetics. So I guess you can do that as well. You like this outfit versus the other one. My feeling is for me, it'll always be about the stats. All right, so yeah, we're gonna have the longsword equipped, and we're gonna have the spear. Only because I just don't see myself using the axe. Which means I have to get used to the weapon mechanics of the spear. I suspect it's very different from the longsword. I will not necessarily commit to trying all of them out. especially since I know that the short sword is what's going to help me generate the Skyborn that I need to wield magic. So at the very least, my character will be sort of like a battle mage, because I don't think you can get by without without any hand-to-hand combat. So this is one of those, do I go left or do I go right moments. Okay, we have some more armor. Okay. Alright, spear is okay. This little tent doesn't have... Just make sure there's no one I can talk to in that tent. Check everywhere. Okay. We have a guy who's shooting at us. You will also have quite a few healing items in the game. They don't heal very much, but it's sort of worth having. Yeah, it's easy to dodge them. There are some enemies that look like those guys, but they jump on you and start stabbing you in the back of the neck with a knife. They're annoying because you get locked into their animation, which makes it very, very difficult. It won't kill you, I guess, unless you're really low on health, but it's just really annoying. It's super annoying if there's more than one. So we have another split path, left and right. What to do, what to do. I guess I can pick a direction, and if it looks like it's progression, then I go back the other way. Okay, well let's... If it doesn't look like progression, then it will just be a dead end, like this. Yeah, these guys with the guns, you do not want to get next to one of those barrels and then have them shoot, because it will do quite a bit of damage. Where's the other guy? Oh, he's up there. All right. Well, maybe at some point later in the game they'll give me a gun. I doubt it, but you know, I don't think that's in the skill tree.
Time to send you to the afterlife.
And this is progression, this side.
Off with your head.
Oh, that's the knife guy. He snuck me. And I'm very low on health.
I'll cleave you in twain.
Now I'm like one hit away from dying. Yeah, I need to slot these so that I won't have to keep going back to the menu. That was close. It was very close. Alright, so we know progression seems to be going through that door that he was so readily defending. So we're going to go through here. I'm going to grab this. Okay, I guess the game is telling me, at least I think the game is telling me that you can kill a bunch of those enemies by tossing in one of those fire pots. What's this? I'm guessing there's a shrine nearby. We've come quite a distance without one. So we just because that looks like progression, I figured let me just come all the way back this way, because this is likely to lead to a dead end if that other side is, if the left side is progression, then the right side is going to lead to something. It's going to lead eventually to a dead end, but it may lead to some more loot. We have this little area here. Oh, okay. Okay, worth it. Yeah, I don't know whether the game is going to give you a map later on or not. I know Black Myth did eventually put a map in the game, but that was after I'd already played it twice. I think it did end up playing it a third time with the map, but it sort of changed a little bit, because I think that folks who played it without the map when it first came out probably explored more than people who ended up with the maps did, because you had to in order to figure out what to progress. The other thing is there are items you needed to find in that game that you could only find by doing side quests. Some of those items weren't unlocked until later, which meant you had to go back to those areas. So there was a lot. I don't know whether this game has taken that path or not, but at least up to this point there's no map, so you're really just exploring. I'm not opposed to using a guide to, sort of help me sort of create a bit of a path with making notes. I walk right into one of the exploding traps. So if you have something like that to just guide you, that's a little bit more helpful than wandering around lost. But the good thing is the terrain is not so identical that you wouldn't recognize I haven't been here before. I mean, it's all in the woods, but it's not identical. And there are clear pathways. So the game doesn't let you sort of just wander into the middle of the woods. You have to sort of follow a pathway to get to where you're going. Okay, so back to where we were before heading back in the other direction to make sure we grabbed all the loot. We want to wow, she's got a Major League Baseball player arm. But that took those, I guess there were 3 guys, took them out. I think in the background there's another shrine. There's a bird over there. There's this little house. Trying to figure out what to explore first. Let's take the house. Oh, okay. Alright, you watch your buddies get blown up, and you didn't even bother to come out and help them. So we have this monk to contend with. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That would be a ball in baseball, not a strike. Totally whiffed that. Okay, not too difficult. So what were you protecting in that house? That's the question. We got the bunny buns, which seem to be very plentiful in this game so far, which is great because you don't necessarily have to tap into your main healing potions. The other thing about the healing potions is there's a way to upgrade them at some point later on. Ah, the short sword. That is what I wanted. Short swords are one-handed swords. So probably doesn't do as much damage as the long sword, but again, I'm using it for Skyborn regeneration, more than anything else. But I do need to upgrade it as I move along because it is a weapon. And, you know, like I said, I don't think I can get through a whole game without doing melee. So I'm going to have to upgrade it. What is that knocking noise? Every place feels like a trap. That's because it was a trap. Okay, yeah, the angle is bad. So I probably need to go around. I don't think these kunai can actually kill these guys. Yeah. And apparently most important thing here. Let's activate the shrine and we're going to wrap things up here. This is pretty good. We've made it to the next little area of the game. And we have an NPC that looks like he's having a moment. Alright, teleport is now unlocked, which means we can go back to where we were. We can begin to unlock some things. Right. So moving to the left side is what's going to unlock your sort of base attributes. Strength, Skyborn regeneration, those kinds of things. To the other items are each tied to weapon types. Axes, long swords, one-handed swords, dual blades, things like that. Spears. So you won't ever have the whole sort of tree unlocked. I don't know whether it's possible to unlock the entire tree. But what you can do is you can, without it costing you anything, you can sort of redo. So if you want to move from the longsword to a short sword, and you've already updated the longsword, you can sort of reset and use the items for the new weapon that you want. So anyway, we're going to stop here. When we come back, we're going to continue to explore this little area. I'm assuming there's a boss somewhere in this area that we'll have to contend with, and we will do so. But for now, thank you guys for joining me in this first video of Wuchang Fallen Feathers. And when we come back, we will continue our quest, exploring every area of the game. I won't leave anything undone, and dealing with some very difficult bosses. I will leave the first death in for these boss fights, but if I die 20 times, you're only going to see it once before the successful run. All right, so thank you guys for joining me. If you like this video, please subscribe and comment, more importantly. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.